Welcome in, college football fans. It's Friday, baby. It's the eve of college football, week 9. We are ready to give you our best bets against the spread. This is Between the Lines, the first and long college football betting show. I'm your co-host, Marcus. There's your other co-host, Mason. Mason, how are you today, bud?
Doing good, man. We got some more football to watch tomorrow. I'm excited. I feel good about my picks this week. I've had a couple of bad weeks for anybody who's paying attention or not paying attention, I guess. But I'm ready to turn the curve here and turn the tables, I guess. And I'm due, right? Like in baseball, if you're averaging, a 300 hitter and you're 0 for 7, you're due to get a hit at some point, right? So here we go. I'm ready to start it off. Let's see what we can do here this week.
Yeah, well, I can't remember what your record was last week. I know you said you started off the year hot. You were
Yes.
you were hot as a pepper sprout to start
Yep.
the year, way over 500, and it's kind of come back to earth. And I was kind of the opposite. I was just kind of hanging around 500, and last
Mhm.
week I went undefeated. So,
Yep.
and what we do
So you're
here
carrying
is we're gonna
now.
we're what's that?
So you're carrying us now.
Well, let's don't count on that. But I will say do feel good about my picks this week. I've dove deep into these matchups, and just to let everybody know what this show is all about, we're doing this every Friday, and I think we're going to move this up to about this time frame every Friday. And we're sorry that we're a few minutes late, but we're going to shoot for about 12:30 on Fridays to get you these picks, so you can get your bets in the window, early on in the day, and be able to watch whatever lines that you need to from then on. But these are our best bets against the spread. This isn't key matchups. This isn't that show. We've already done that show, and if you missed it, you can go back and check that out. That's on the live portion, or you can just check out team specific breakdowns for each key matchup this week. But we're picking our bets that we think are going to make some money, and we did a decent job of that last week, and we'll see what we can do this week. Without further ado, let's dive into this. Everybody hit the thumbs up if you're watching now, and if you're watching later, please do so. That really helps us out a lot, and doesn't cost you a thing if you can just hit that thumbs up and hit a subscribe button. That way, whenever we're bringing the content to you. Um, I'll go ahead and lead us off, and I'm going to take mine in chronological order here. I've got mine in order from kickoff time. So in the noon window, the more I've looked at this matchup, the more I've liked it as the week has went on. And we did break this one down in the key matchups, so you can go back and take a look at that, OU and Kansas fans. But I'm taking OU -9 at Kansas. Sounds to me like Daniels is not going to be playing. Sounds like he's not ready yet. And I don't think it would be a time that they would throw him back out there if he was iffy in a game against Oklahoma. So give me Oklahoma and give me those points. I think they get right this week after a scare with UCF last week. Um, Old Gus Malzahn is known for pulling some upsets and pulling some strings and working some things in the run game that can be really, really confusing to deal with, and especially if you're not prepared for it. And with UCF just getting in the Big 12, I think it kind of snuck up on Oklahoma last week after celebrating probably for a couple weeks after the Red River Shootout. So uh, give me the Oklahoma Sooners on a get right week to start me off at noon. What's your first pick, Mason?
Well, I'm gonna stick with that game for now, and I'm gonna go with the under 66 in this game. I don't think Jalen Daniels is going to play. If he does play, I feel I feel a little less little less good about this, I guess. So, but I'm gonna go with the under 66. I think Oklahoma is a really good defense, and while Oklahoma should easily cover their half of the 66, I would say they could maybe hit 40 even. I don't know that Kansas is going to be able to put up 30 on Oklahoma against this defense without Jalen Daniels, who was their, all Big 12 player of the year preseason.
Yeah.
Without him, he's a big part of their offense. And Bean has done fine, don't get me wrong, but I think he's going to struggle in taking a step up. This is the best defense that Kansas has faced all year, and I think he's
The
going to
offense
struggle.
is just clearly not the same with Bean.
That's right. That you gotta change the offense up, and it just hasn't been the same, like you said. So I'll take us to our next game. Let's go ahead and go to the cocktail party. I've got 2 plays on this game. So to me, I don't think that Florida is really going to be able to hang in on this game, and part of that is I'm kind of fading the public in a sense, because I've heard a lot of people, a lot of media type at least, who are picking Florida to hang close with Georgia. It may be one of those games, from what I'm hearing. A lot of people are saying it may be one of those games where Georgia wins by 10, but it never really feels close. I just think that coming off of the bye week, Kirby is going to be able to motivate this team. We've heard the halftime speeches that Kirby gives during Georgia Florida, almost notoriously. So I think he's going to have these teams motivated, or his team motivated to play. And I think that Georgia's going to score early and score often. And I think that Florida's going to have a tough time scoring on this defense. This is the best defense that Florida has faced, and I think it's going to show. So give me Georgia minus 14.5. I believe that line's still the same, but that's
it is. I just checked it.
Okay. If you could find a 14 out there, guys, eat it up. I mean, I would feel pretty good about that.
You might do yourself good to buy the half point down.
Yeah,
a lot of sites will let you buy that down, and take that hook off. And this might be a situation where it's good to do so, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see it being a 14 or 17 point, kind of nice even number in a sense. But I'm also going to take UGA and Florida over 47.5. Now, if you have to pick one or the other, I feel better about the latter play, the over 47.5. I believe that Georgia might be able to get to that point on their own, and I do think that Florida's going to score. I don't think this is going to be some 48-0 blowout. But I think that, Georgia can easily score 42. I think Florida should be able to put up about 17 to 23 pretty easily. So that's kind of my pick on the game, and how I think it's going to play out. But
yeah,
what you got next?
Well, I'll go ahead and give you my pick on that game since we're on the subject, and I'm also on UGA minus 14.5. And
Okay.
Here's kind of my thoughts. I was on the other side of this whenever the week started, and
Yeah,
mine and your pick on this game is not the popular pick. I can
that's
tell you
right.
that. But I haven't heard anybody give me a real good explanation for why they're picking Florida plus 14.5. I really haven't heard a good explanation other than the fact that UGA is just not as good as they were. Okay, well, Florida's not good. So where does that leave us? This Florida offensive line has taken a step back this year. Graham Mertz has ran for his life. He has been sacked a lot. I think this is a game. I'm not saying Georgia's going to have 5 or 6 sacks or something, but because Georgia doesn't sack the quarterback a lot, they really don't statistically. But they do create havoc, and they get the quarterback on the run, and they get them off their spot, and they get their eyes away from downfield, and it really helps this defense a lot. And I think it's going to be a game where Graham Mertz is going to get off his spot. I've heard several people this week, and I'm going to try to make this quick because this ain't like a full breakdown show, but I've heard several people this week talking about they feel good about Florida because Auburn was able to hang with Georgia. And to that I say, Graham Mertz ain't running no read option.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not happening. Graham Mertz is a statue, sir. He's not running anywhere, especially against this defense. You give me a freaking break. That's not happening. And this ain't at Auburn, and this ain't Carson Beck's first road start ever. So I haven't heard a good explanation of why Florida should be in this game other than that people like this number. And I think Vegas has done a good job, and I think they're going to clean up. But Marshall, Jackson, Kimber, these are 3 corners that play for Florida every game. They've played every game this year. And I've also heard how good Florida's passing defense is. Well, the best passing offense that they've played is Vanderbilt this year, and they gave up 280 yards, and all three of these guys got cooked on plays of over 50 yards in that game by Vanderbilt, and it was different wide receivers. It wasn't just Shepard. So that it just seems like a bad matchup to me, and I feel like people aren't really. I think people are taking for granted the fact that Georgia's offense has been more explosive this year than they have been in years past. This is a passing team, and I think they're going to be able to pass to be able to run the ball. And I think Florida is going to dare Georgia to run the ball, and I think it's a bad matchup for Florida. So give me Georgia. My long-winded answer, minus 14.5. I'm right there with you on that one. And I feel really damn good about it. I'm just going to be honest with you. The only thing I think that could derail this is Georgia's prevalence to turning the ball over.
Right?
That's right.
They haven't had a game without a turnover in a while. It's been, I want to say, at least 3 weeks where they haven't had a turnover.
Yeah. So if Georgia can play a clean game here, I think they can win this game 17-21 points. What's your next pick?
I'm going to go over to the West Coast. We've got Oregon at Utah. And to me, these are two really good defenses. So typically, like
3:30 game, by the way, everybody.
Yeah, 3:30 game. So you figure that's pretty much a noon start on the West Coast. But two really good defenses. I think it's kind of a principal play for me, but Utah does not score a lot of points on offense, and they don't give up a lot of points. So give me the under in that game. I got it at 49. I'm pretty sure that's about where it's stuck for the past few days, at least. So give me the 49. I also think that Oregon's going to cover
47.5, Mason. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
So I caught it early at 49. That was a play that I got on Monday. So even at 47.5, I still like it. So, do with that what you will. But, I really don't think that a 1.5, those points, I don't think that they're going to matter too much. I like a good 49, kind of round number there. But yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with that. That's my safer play of the two, but I'm also taking Oregon minus 6.5 in this game. Oregon's looking for kind of I don't want to say a get right game, but a get right in a bigger game, right? Last week, they kind of, sleptwalked through their game and weren't able to cover. But, it wasn't like a bad performance or anything like that. So I don't want to say it's a get right game for them. I just think that they're going to be up and be motivated to play the back-to-back Pac-12 champions, and they're going to be able to go out there and get this win. And I think that they're going to win by at least 14 in this game. So give me Oregon minus 6.5 as well.
For the record, we're going to give you the 49 because that's what you already betted at this week. But for the purposes of this show, I'm going with the same game, and I've got the same pick on Oregon minus 6.5. That is still the line there. That hasn't moved a lot at all. But I'm going to take the over 47.5. I think it's crept down a little bit too far. I think 49 was the right number.
Yeah.
I think this game is 28-21 Oregon.
Okay.
I think that's exactly what Vegas is portraying is going to happen here. And I think if all things are equal and turnover battle, isn't lopsided one way or the other, I think that's where we're going to end up. I think there's a world in which Oregon could maybe lay it on them a little harder, and it'd be 35-7, something like that. And I'm still hitting the over there, and which would be a push for you. I think 49 is just like the perfect number. I really do. So give me the over 47.5 and give me Oregon minus 6.5 because Oregon is just a much more well-rounded team. The Bryson Barnes thing has been it really is an amazing college football story. You would only get a story like this in college football, and really probably only in Utah, right?
Yeah.
It is. It's so Utah, and I love it. I love the story, and I don't think Utah's by any means, done ruining some seasons or whatever this season, but Oregon is in wounded animal mode at this point. Their backs are against the wall. There's no wiggle room. the only chance I see possibly that Utah wins this game is by Oregon just screwing it up, by Dan Lanning being overly aggressive, which he's done a few times this year, or Bo Nix trying to throw into the teeth of this defense whenever he doesn't need to be doing it, or he's trying to rush things. Other than that, that's the only path to victory I see for Oregon. It would have to be for Utah. That it would have to be a catastrophic chain of events. So give me those picks. I'm with you on that. What you got next?
Yeah, so real quick, the only thing that gave me pause about Oregon scoring like 42 points or something like that is the fact that it is in Bryce Eccles.
Yeah.
So, Utah plays really, really well at home, about as good as any team.
How many games win streak is it right now? 19 at home?
Gosh, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's been years since they've lost at home.
Yeah. So that's the only thing. I do think it's going to be low scoring. I'd be happy to middle with you at 48. That'd be pretty magical for the show.
Yeah, no kidding. And there's a world where that could happen for sure. I have 27-21. There's absolutely a world in which that could happen. So I just think that number crept down a little too far. And I just think I know everybody's down on Utah's offense, and it's for good reason, but perception is just a bitch in this game. And Vegas has got everybody believing that Utah can't score nothing on Oregon. And I just anything can happen, man. We just saw Virginia beat North Carolina last week, and they scored 30-something points. Like, stuff goes down in this sport. What you got next, bud?
All right, so let's head over to the Big Ten, and I'm taking Ohio State versus Wisconsin under 45.5. That's a really low point total for Ohio State.
Yeah.
But
I like it.
Ohio State hasn't been able to score very much, and this is a really good Wisconsin defense. I say really good. It's not upper tier for the Big Ten. It's probably it's kind of right up there with Iowa in a sense. In the Big Ten West, but yeah, I think it's a pretty easy play. Ohio State's defense has been stellar. I mean, top 3 in the country, top 5 for sure, no debate. But and Wisconsin's offense hasn't been very good. So I'm predicting a shutout actually for Ohio State this week. I think that they're going to come out and play really well. They could be a little sleepy coming off the big Penn State win, but I think that they should be able to keep the point total down pretty low. And that's why I feel good about the under 45.5. I think it's a pretty safe play, to be honest.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people taking Wisconsin plus the points this week. What do you think about that? I know you're not taking it as a best bet. I'm just saying, do
you know what that spread is?
In the spread, like 10?
I don't have it in front
like
of me actually, but no, I don't like that at all. I think that Ohio State will win by a couple touchdowns.
I think so too.
I don't think
good, man. It's going to take some time.
I don't think they can score. I don't think they can score at all. Like,
yeah,
Ohio State showed me a lot last week,
right?
Yeah, and look, Penn State's. I know that their offense isn't that great, but they weren't as bad as they showed last week. Like, Ohio State did some things really, really well, and I think that they're one of the best defenses I've ever seen for Ohio State. Definitely the best under Ryan Day. Again, I don't think Wisconsin gets in the end zone. They may score, but I think it's going to be some field goals. Like, they may put up like 9 points.
Yeah, and do we really think Wisconsin's offense is better than Penn State? I mean, I think a lot of people are banking on the fact that Ohio State is coming down off of that adrenaline rush that was that big game last week, and
yeah,
I guess I get that, and that is a thing in college football, but it's just not something I'm willing to bet my money on this week. Hey, anybody that's watching the show right now, please, I just put a message on the screen, but please comment your best bet of the week. We'd love to read it on the show, and and we'd love to have you come back next week and we'll talk about it, or we'll talk about it now. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Give us a thumbs up if you like the show. Thank you so much. Well, I'll go ahead and go on out to the Big Ten as well. This one is a noon game. I'm taking Penn State minus 32 versus Indiana. It's at home for Penn State. And look, there's there's things that are constant with Penn State, and one of the things that is constant is Penn State and James Franklin have a knack for beating the spread. I don't know what the deal is. They didn't do it last week because they never do it in the big matchups. But
Yeah.
whenever Penn State is favored, they literally always cover. They're like 12-0-1 their last 13 games where they're favored. And so obviously that stretches back into last year. James Franklin, when they're favored to beat somebody, they usually beat the ever living hell out of them. And Indiana is horrible, absolutely horrible. So Penn State at home, take the minus 32. They can beat them. They can definitely beat them 49-0, 42-0. I'm 35-0. Indiana's going to struggle to get in the end zone. Excuse me. Penn State is one of the best defenses in the land right now, for sure.
Yeah.
So give me Penn State to cover.
I like that play. I like that play a lot. I mean, we saw what they did against Iowa. Indiana's not a much better offense than Iowa, folks, and they shut Iowa out. So I think that game ended up 33-0 against a really good Iowa defense.
Yeah, and Penn State's got one loss. They're not about to just quit. They're not about to just quit right now. Like, they don't know what's going to happen to Michigan. Like, they still have to play Michigan. Like, they have not quit. If anything, they're probably a little more fired up than they were. It probably got their attention. They're in wounded animal mode. So I like this pick a lot.
Yep. All right. So,
hey, I'm grabbing a drink. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right, folks. So what I've got next is Tennessee versus Kentucky under 51.5. This is a pretty easy play here for me. It's at Kentucky. Both teams like to run the ball, right? So with this play, I'm thinking both teams are going to want to play possession, right? That's gonna eat the time on the clock. And I think it's just going to be a really low scoring game. Both defenses have played really well as well. And Mark, just to fill you in, I'm on Tennessee versus Kentucky under 51.5. Both of these defenses have played really well.
I'm on this pick too, by the way.
You got the same pick? Okay.
Yeah, super duper lock.
Yeah. Anything I looked at this game and I said anything over 50, like, yeah, I'm definitely taking this. You know, if it's in the 50s, I think it's a pretty easy bet. I liked it at 49, you know, so at 51.5, I say go ahead and take it. And you know, you may be better off selling some points here, but yeah, so pretty easy play for me. Both defenses have been strong. Both running games have been strong. That's going to eat the clock down a lot. Give me the under 51.5. I think this ends up being like maybe like a 12 possession game or something like that. A lot of field possession type of plays and stuff like that. A lot of punts and a low scoring game at the end of the day. I think both teams are going to be like in the teens to 20s. It's going to be one of those games. It'll be a good game though. I'm definitely excited to watch it.
Going to be lots of punts in this game. Yeah, I don't like where Tennessee's head is going to be at in this one, I don't think, man. And for whatever reason, Tennessee likes to ignore this rivalry and pretend that it's not a rivalry. And Kentucky is all about this rivalry. They hate Tennessee. And Tennessee likes to think more of their rivals to be like Georgia, Florida, you know, Alabama. They don't like to really associate themselves in a rivalry with Kentucky.
Yeah.
And it couldn't be more personal for Kentucky just because of that very point. So, but that's not why I'm picking the under here. These are two running football teams here, and they're two teams that focus on stopping the run, and strength is stopping the run. Neither one of these quarterbacks can air the ball out worth the shit. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. Joe Milton can't hit the broadside of a barn. I was talking to a guy on Wager Talk. What's his name? Frank, that does the shows on Wager Talk. We've been commenting back and forth on YouTube. And we were talking about Florida, you know, and I said the best passing attack that they've played this year is Vanderbilt. He said, no, it's Tennessee. Y'all think Tennessee's got a better passing attack than Vanderbilt? Then y'all are tripping, because I'm telling you right now, they don't. They
No.
flat out don't. Tennessee does not have a passing attack. The best I've seen Tennessee's passing attack since homeboy Hendon Hooker got hurt last year was in the first quarter of the Alabama game last week, and then the rest of the game they were flat as hell. So, with all that being said, Mr. Ray Davis Sr. is going to be kissing his little baby Ray Davis Jr. on the sideline before the game starts, and hand him over to baby mama, and he about to run over some Tennessee boys. Give me that under 51.5. And while we're on, well, I'll save it. We'll do our money lines at the end. Where are you going to next, man?
I'm going back out to the West. Give me Arizona versus Oregon State under 56.5.
Okay.
This is a tough matchup for Arizona. I think that Oregon State is a very complete team. They like to run the football, Oregon State, that is. And Arizona is really good at defending the run, right? On the flip side, Arizona, a little bit of a balanced offense, but they also, definitely like to run the football more. Oregon State's really good at stopping the run. So I think there's going to be a lot of stalemates in this game for a Pac-12, at dark type of game. I think that I'm pretty confident in this number, but I'm pretty sure that Arizona is not going to be able to score very much. And that's really what gives me the idea here that the number is going to be under 56.5. That's a lot of points, folks, for an Arizona team that has done some good things as of late, but not really against like great opponents in a way.
Yeah.
USC, they kept that game close, and looking back on it, that's not a very good USC team to stay within, but still lose, at the end of the day. But anyway, so under 56.5, Arizona versus Oregon State.
Under 56.5. Yeah. And what's Oregon State favored in that one?
I believe, man, I just had it pulled up. Hold on, I'll pull it up.
I kind of forgot about that game, but my kind of the point that I was about to make, though, I mean, listen to Arizona's schedule this year. They played Northern Arizona, beat them 38-3. They lost to Mississippi State. Mississippi State caught 5 interceptions in that game, dude. I mean, that was literally, you remember that movie, The Perfect Storm, where it was like the perfect storm?
Yeah.
That's literally that's what happened here. And they beat UTEP 31-10. They barely beat Stanford 21-20. Arizona they don't have a culture of winning. They're not going to win this game. We know that. What did you say the line was?
It's 3 points towards Oregon State.
Well,
I really
I'm adding another pick on here. I'm taking Oregon State.
I'm with you on that, actually, now that we're
and Eric Stockton just sent us a pick. Eric, I'm going to put you on here in just a second. Let's but this Oregon State, I mean, -3. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's at Arizona, right?
No. At Oregon State.
It is?
I don't get it either. Yeah, that's what I've got. Hold on. Yeah, it's at hold on a second.
I should know this.
It is in Arizona. I had it backwards.
It was at Arizona.
Yep.
But I don't care. Give me I'll take the 3. I think Oregon State can win this by 7 or more.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and take that one. What time is that game at, Mason?
10:30.
10:30. Oh, Lord mercy.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Okay.
Pac-12 at dark.
I'll check on it Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Eric has got us a pick. Eric, thank you so much for watching, buddy. We really do appreciate it. And anybody who's got a pick, throw it in the comment section. We'll throw it up here. Notre Dame versus Pitt over 45.5. Wow. Okay. Over 45. So that is a pretty low number there. And Eric, I have heard some people that I respect and listen to a lot taking a few different people taking Pitt in the points.
Yeah.
I think that Notre Dame and Pitt are kind of like a clash of styles there. So I think it's causing some bettors to kind of clamor over that matchup. And with it being kind of one that's out of the limelight, I think a lot of people are real, people that are in the betting public are turning a lot of attention to that. What do you think about that one, Mason?
I like the play. It's very interesting. This is a game that's kind of off my radar, but Pitt has done some good things this week, and Notre Dame has been able to score some points. I think that this is a fading the public sort of play. I don't know if it's intentional, but I kind of like this play. It is a low number. I could see both teams, one team being at 30, one being in the mid 20s. But let's write that number down and let's revisit it when we do our reaction show on Sunday.
Yeah. So, sorry, I got a little close to the mic there. So Pitt, well, let's just kind of look at what they've done this year. So to start the season off, they beat Wofford 45-7. Since lost to Cincinnati at home 27-21. Lost to West Virginia at West Virginia 17-6. So you're talking about a point totals 45, 21, 6, 24 against North Carolina. 21 lost to Virginia Tech, 38-21. And then they beat Louisville 38-21, the same exact score they lost to Virginia Tech by the week before.
Yeah.
And then got beat last week by Wake Forest 21-17.
Okay.
Interesting.
Well,
interesting.
If this is going to hit, then I'm going to go ahead and tell you that Notre Dame has to blow them out.
Yeah.
I thought I didn't remember that score from last week. I remembered the Louisville score, and I knew that their offense was kind of getting hot, or at least they were scoring points. I don't know if every score was an offensive score, but so I think that they are a kind of semi-hot team. But if that's going to hit, I think that Notre Dame is going to have to score the bulk of these points, maybe like 37.
Yeah. So
like a 37-10 I could see,
And Notre Dame will have a game against Clemson the following week at Clemson.
Yeah.
Interesting. That might be a look ahead spot for Notre Dame. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
So you might be onto something, Eric. We'll take a look at that. We're going to revisit it next week. Thank you so much for tuning in and commenting. I really do appreciate that. All right. So did we both add Oregon State -3 to our
We
thing?
did. Yep.
Okay, cool.
I jumped on that as well.
What else you got, brother?
I got UNC. In kind of a get right game. They got Georgia Tech this week. It's in Atlanta. And they're favored by 11.5 points. You don't really know what to expect with Georgia Tech, what version of them we're going to get. They've been very up and down this year. I think that they're going to be up and ready to play this game, but I don't think they're going to have enough for what North Carolina is going to be able or be trying to do and trying to prove in this week. So I think they win by at least 12. So give me North Carolina. I think their offense is going to get right this week, and I think that they're going to blow out the Yellow Jackets in Atlanta.
They've really been focusing on that game. Georgia Tech has given North Carolina fits the last few years. It's been really weird.
Yeah,
I want to say they've lost to them 3 years in a row. Is that right? Or a couple years in a row. It's weird situation there, or had some scares there, something or another.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with an ACC matchup as well, and I'm going to go to the Clemson at NC State game, and I'm going to take the under 49. This is two defensive teams. Clemson has had a really, really hard time putting points on the board this year. They have done well moving the ball for the most part. I mean, kind of mediocre run game. And the pass game has been decent between the 20s, but once Clemson's got in the red zone, they've had a hard time, and NC State's pretty stingy. Brennan Armstrong can't seem to get out of his own way on offense for NC State, and not exactly an offensive powerhouse there. So give me that under 44, not 49, under 44 in that game. I think this is going to be like a 17-10 type of situation here. I don't think this is a situation where anybody's going to have a big advantage. Clemson just can't stretch the field, man. They don't have any
Yeah.
wide receivers to do it, and Brendan Armstrong won't stay in the pocket long enough in this game to throw anything down the field. He'll probably be running it and fumbling it like he has all year. So give me the under 44 in that one.
All right, and for my last play of the week, I've got Washington over Stanford, and I'm gonna take Washington and the points at minus 26.5 against Stanford. I think this is kind of a get right game for Washington. They struggled last week. They didn't score a single offensive point. So I think that they're going to be able to come out and have some firepower against Stanford. So give me Washington and all those points.
Okay. All right, then. I think I've got 2 plays left, and then we're going to do our money line picks.
Yeah.
My 2 plays are on the same game, 2 different plays here. 7:30 p.m. Colorado is going to UCLA to get murdered. They're about to get murdered, Mason.
Yeah.
And the betting public continues to bet on Colorado, my friend.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I can't figure it out. But I'm glad that they're doing it because I think it's really dumb, and I can see right through what's about to happen here. Give me UCLA minus 15. UCLA, when they've struggled this year, it's been because of the quarterback position. It's been a turnover machine. It's been a constant turnover factory at quarterback. Ethan Garbers is going to get the start. UCLA don't even have to throw the ball. They don't even have to throw the ball right here, dude. They might run for 300-400 yards in this one. Colorado can't stop a nosebleed, and they sure as hell can't stop Carson Steele, who is averaging 4 yards after first contact.
Yeah.
Number 1 in the nation. Ridiculous. Okay. And not to mention, he looks at you with those blue eyes.
Those steely blue eyes.
You just kind of dissolve into the earth. It's the damnedest thing. He hits you with the Zoolander.
He's got the Riz.
Yeah. He hits you with the Zoolander blue steel. Like that. So look, give me UCLA minus 15. The reason I know the public's on Colorado is because this number was at 17.5 whenever I was already going to bet on it.
Crazy.
And now the number's just coming to me, my friend. So give me the minus 15. I guess maybe you just want to wait on this. I don't know. Maybe you just want to wait till tomorrow to bet on this. I don't know. Maybe it's going to keep coming to you.
Please tell me that you're going to take the under as well.
I am taking the under at under 61.
It was really high. I saw that. I was
now that's come down 2 points. So people are hitting the under and have got it down to 2 points. But I think this is going to be one of the lowest scoring Pac-12 games of the year, man. Honestly, unless UCLA just blows them out. But even if they do blow them out, UCLA is not like a point machine. Like the very max they could score would be like 49. And if UCLA scores 49, then they had the ball for like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and Colorado's not going to have any time to score. So I don't understand where this number comes from. I really, really don't. But I'm sure Vegas has just said, got him. But I don't know. Right now, I feel pretty good about it. So UCLA minus 15, under 61. And let's do our money line picks real quick. Who you got on the moolah line?
All right. So for the money line, and hear me out, folks. This is we have an obligatory money line bet every single week.
Please explain this.
I have to make a money line bet, right?
Minimum of 1 per week.
Yes, and it has to be an underdog. We're not picking the money line and like picking somebody who's already favored to win. Like that, there's no fun in that. Okay, we don't count this in our totals every week.
Even or better.
Yeah, and really like we want at least a plus 130 or higher, right? I definitely went higher this week. So give me South Carolina. They're 16-point underdogs at Texas A&M. And it's a noon game, so I think the crowd, maybe a little bit out of it.
It is
Texas
still
A&M.
October.
It is still Cocktober. There's still time for some Gamecock magic, let's say. So give me so this money line total is at plus 505. Guys, if you got $10 to spare, just put it on them. You'll win $50,
You
right?
ain't gonna miss $10. Who
You're not
gives
gonna
a
miss
crap?
$10. Yeah. But that would definitely be a huge upset. But this Texas A&M team has not shown any sort of affinity for scoring. Like they don't
Yeah.
even want to score. They want to keep it a low scoring game and try to win it on the ground, I guess. But they're not even that good at that. Like their offense is not that good. It doesn't scare me. And defensively, okay, yeah, they're pretty good. But if South Carolina can get some stuff going in the air, beat them over the top, just like Alabama did, then they could find a way for to win this game. And then a few stops on offense, which I think they're capable of. I think that we're in for kind of an interesting game nonetheless. I almost wanted to pick South Carolina to cover the 16, but there is also a possibility that this game gets out of hand the other way. But for the money line aspect, put $5 or $10 on it, and it's got good value, and I don't think it's that far out of possibility.
Yeah. Well, for my money line pick, I'm going to take Kentucky plus 150. This one barely registers as a long odds type situation here, but plus 150 is good money.
Yeah.
So, look, Kentucky's a 3.5-point dog at home here. So you have a chance to take a home dog on the line plus 150, and it's a single digit spread.
Yeah.
And, I feel like this is a pretty good bet. I feel like it's a pretty good bet. And we both had bets on that game. We picked the under in that one. And if it does go under, I like Kentucky even more, because if they can limit, I think if Kentucky can keep Tennessee under, 21 points,
Yeah.
then Kentucky can win this game outright, for sure. I think Kentucky can muster up 28 points in this one. Probably first one to 30 in this one wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that either one will get to 30. I'm just saying. But give me Kentucky the plus 150. I like Ray Davis Sr. in this one. I think Kentucky's feels like they have more to play for. I'm worried about where Tennessee's head's at after that loss last week, that absolute meltdown that happened in the second half last week in Bryant-Denny Stadium. That's just demoralizing as hell. As a Georgia fan, okay, see that over there, UGA? Yeah, I know what it's like to lose a second half lead to Alabama. Been there, done that, okay? And it sucks. So it takes a while to get over to, and I don't even play for the team. So with all that being said, that's all that I've got for this week, man. You all tapped out?
That's it. Let's go win some money this week, y'all.
Y'all, that's some good bets. I can tell you right now. I've scoured the internet. I've listened to everybody's takes. I've listened to everybody's picks. I'm telling you right now, those are some good picks that we just did, and I think we're in good shape, barring injuries or turnovers. So, with all that being said, I want to wish everybody the best of luck this weekend and in the betting window, and have fun at the cocktail party if you're heading out there. Wish we were heading out there to see you, but I'm headed over to Mason's house, so that's even better. So see you, wouldn't want to be you, and we'll talk to you guys next week. And I think we're going to do our reaction show on Sunday, so we'll see everybody then. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Good luck this week.